Welcome back, everybody, to another shocking episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today, as you can see from the title, we're going to be speaking about an inmate that killed two of her own cellmates. One of them begged the correctional officers to go to PC because they knew it was coming. But unfortunately, like many other stories I brought your way, she was ignored and shortly after ended up losing her life, and she didn't even have much time left to do. If you were to ask me, it could have been completely avoided, and I'm going to break those things down to you today. And you know, I think a lot of people got the idea of PC in prison a bit clouded. PC short for protective custody for those that don't know. A lot of people think they can just check right in. Like it's a Motel 6, man. Think again. I'll break it all down when we get there. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you need to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. The article I'll be reading from today is coming from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. That's right, we're traveling down to Georgia once again. And even though the article is speaking on the rare killings coming from a woman's prison, it's also going to highlight some other conditions coming from the Georgia prison system. So hopefully this brings a little bit of awareness to the situation, but it begins saying when a prisoner at Lee Arundel State Prison was found dead in her cell this spring, Haley Reed called her mother in a panic. Reed was in the same mental health unit as the dead woman, Sherry Joyce, and she told her mother that she had asked to be placed in protective custody and been turned down. Now, before I move forward, let me break down a few things about these blocks. It says that she's already in the mental health unit. That's the first mistake. If you're to ask me, the mental health block should only be for people that need to be transferred to some kind of mental hospital. Only sitting in there for a day or two, and keep in mind they're mental. So why in the f*** are you gonna give them a cellmate? Right? That don't make sense. Lock two crazy people up in a box with nothing to do? No, man. If they got mental health issues in any way, shape, or form, they need to be by themselves. So if I had a choice to change a few things in the system, right? First and foremost, like I said, a mental health block should only be a holding tank for them to go to a mental hospital. They need to crank them things back up. Full effect. Jail is not the place for them, man. That's just my 2 cents. And number 2, never house inmates together if they're getting in trouble. Continually, especially physical altercations. Those people should not be housed together. Don't even get me going on the time differentials. Someone got life, why are you gonna put someone in there with 2 years? Just don't make sense, right? These things have got to be fixed. And I hate to break all that down in the beginning of the article, we kind of lost track, but let me also tap into the protective custody thing. Let me refresh your memory. Haley Reed called her mother in a panic after that inmate was killed and said that she wanted to go to PC, protective custody. Okay, look, a lot of places, unless the staff knows for a fact that you're gonna die, and even then, chances are they might not move you. Or you're like some kind of mega superstar with a lot of reach on the outside. Yeah, you'll go to PC, but chances are any other time, you can't just sign up for it, go into some special cell all for you, and be all safe, man. It just don't work like that in the majority of prisons. Believe it or not, the prisons that do have PC blocks, they're slam packed. Not to mention the hole as well. They're trying to get people that don't need to be in there out of there so they can have room for people that really need it. And then, you know, a lot of prisons, it ain't even PC. It's the hole. It's all the same thing, just segregation, 23 and 1 lockdown. Death row, hole, PC, all of them in there in one building. Might be separated a little bit, but still, unless you're like a high up superstar, man, that PC is like a dream world. At least the prisons that I've seen. But continuing with the article, and I do apologize, the individuals that were killed, I can't find photos of them anywhere. Obituary, past databases on the Georgia Department of Corrections, nothing. I mean, it's like they never existed almost, unless I'm just not doing a deep enough dig. But continue with the article, it says, Reed was in the same mental health unit as the dead woman, Sherry Joyce, and she told her mother that she asked to be placed in protective custody and was turned down. Reed then abruptly ended the call, leaving her mother, Samantha Reed, to wonder just what had made her 23-year-old daughter so fearful. Within days, Samantha had another call, this one from the warden. And ladies and gentlemen, anytime you get a call from prison and it ain't your loved one, it's a warden, I pray for you. It's almost the same way as a preacher man coming to the cell block and calling your name. Chances are someone passed away. Very scary. I bet my parents were probably hoping and praying they never got that call when I was in there. Because I was in the mix, man. My parents seen me do some crazy stuff too, even in visitation. And they knew how I was on the street, so, you know, I'd be worried about my son as well. But thankfully, I turned my shit around. But continuing with the article, it says Samantha had another call, this one from the warden. Haley Reed is now dead as well. Sad, sad situation. Crazy to think, right? She just called home to her mom to tell her about someone getting killed in the cell block. And she needs to get out of there. She's terrified. A couple days later, her mom finds out she's dead too. Man, I can't even imagine. Months have passed with no explanation from the Georgia Department of Corrections about what happened to Reed and Joyce. But recently, filed arrest warrants revealed stunning explanation. The warrants alleged that both women were strangled to death by the same person. A 22-year-old prisoner, Gianni Giu, I don't know how to pronounce that, so we're just going to call her Gianni, who had only recently arrived in the mental health unit. According to the warrants, Reed and Joyce were killed 8 days apart in late April and early May. So let's break this down for a second, all right? The girl kills one of her cellmates. 8 days later, I guess, she gets put into another cell with someone else, Miss Reed. She doesn't go to the hole by herself or anything like that. They just put her in a cell with another inmate that was begging to be removed to PC. I mean, from my standpoint, it almost sounds like it was on purpose. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents, though. You know, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. But the mother says, I have a bigger problem with the GDC than I do with the girl who may actually have done this. They didn't do their job. The people there to protect Haley failed miserably. The new homicide numbers show once again how stabbings, beatings, and strangulations play out with alarming frequency in facilities that are so understaffed that often no correctional officers are ever around to intervene. Can you imagine being in a prison and jail and never seeing a correctional officer except for probably count time? I mean, to a lot of people, that's great, right? But to a lot of those guys that are getting taken advantage of, they're living a nightmare they will never forget. I'm trying to tell you, man, it can become very, very dark in prison. And you ain't even got to be a part of the situation. Just watching it unfold to other people, man, is... I say this all the time, but you realize how cheap life is to some. But that's about the bulk of it, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I just want to bring a little awareness. Hopefully this rings a few bells to the right people. And speaking about recent prison deaths coming from Georgia, this is another quick article speaking on a situation that just took place. 2 prisoners at a Hancock State Prison were found dead just feet apart after gang-related violence erupted Thursday at one of the most poorly staffed prisons in Georgia. The bodies of William Holman, 34, and Prince Porter, 38, were found in the same dorm about 15 to 20 feet apart. Imagine being in a dorm seeing 2 dead bodies from altercations that had nothing to do with each other, or at least that's what they say. 2 gangs killing someone at the same time? Come on, man. In the same dorm or unit, man, something sounds a bit planned. Sounds like they were cleaning up shop and they wanted to send a message to everyone else. This just happened recently as well, and there ain't too much details to go into it, but prison's always been a very dangerous place, but I'm here to tell you, following all these stories for the last decade, it's getting much, much worse. I mean, it's unreal what's going on behind those walls. You literally don't know if you're going to make it out alive, especially if you're in a medium to high level prison. Hope for the best, but expect the worst at all times. Shuck and jive, bob and weave till you get your ass home. And then more importantly than anything, look, you got to stay home. Buy yourself a PS2, 3, 4, 5, one or the other. Sit in the living room and don't do nothing till you're off papers. Maybe get a job, of course, but don't go back to prison, especially in Georgia. Man, oh man. I'm out here though, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And stay tuned. You know I got plenty more content coming your way. I believe the next one is going to be a little montage. And there's this clip, man. It had me dying laughing at this guy coming out the trailer. And it's titled, "You Just Got Your Court-Appointed Attorney" or something like that. Man, wait till you see this dude's outfit fits the bill to the T. So stay tuned for all that. And the only way to do that is by hitting that notification bell, setting it to all. As always, though, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.